Good morning. I wanted to show you something that I've been working with students in an infographics class. So I'm kind of suspicious that the advent of this requirement comes from the burden being reduced by AI generators. And so I wanted to show you a couple of prompts and then a couple of other samples that I was recommended by a student. So for what it's worth, there's like a million ways to do it, and AI has like that ethical component. Like, is it okay to do AI? Do we declare that we used AI? That burden falls to you, unfortunately. But this is, I think, when I looked at the journal, there's a lot of these really fancy graphics, and I'm like, whoa, did they pay people to do this? Some of them it looks like an ad agency had help doing it. So this is kind of how I think a lot of them generated it. So first of all, I took an abstract from one of the articles from the current issue, and let's see. So this is the abstract, and I put a prompt on top of it. And this is ChatGPT. I'll show you Google Gemini, but a lot of them work similarly. So I said, make an infographic which infers data tying to shapes. Having said that, sometimes they're wrong. I made one with a student yesterday where I said, make an infographic and with a person standing next to growing trees, and so each tree would be a data point, and it got the ratios mixed up and everything. So it might be better as a brainstorming tool than an actual thing, but look, I'll show you what I did. I said, make an infographic, and I told them out of all of the things in the abstract what the categories should be. So there was like soil sampling, sample details, and then they had an AI processing outcome. And ChatGPT gave me this. And I was like, whoa, that's great. So this is where I got fooled and intimidated, because many of these in the journal might be generated just like this. This looks really great. I'm delighted and horrified at the same time, I have to say, that this is generated by AI. So this is clearly not 44%. And so your results may vary. You have to look at this. So for what it's worth, that pie chart's totally wrong. If you go to Google Gemini, what I did instead is I had some data from a different sample, and I wanted to just make one chunk of the chart. So it was looking on the Caspian Sea. Somebody did a sample of shoreline incidences of macroplastics, and this was the density range that they found. So some parts were bigger than others, and they talked about nematodes being affected. So for the prompt, I said, make an infographic with an anthropomorphic happy nematode and a sad nematode. And all I took was this data and that prompt. It gave me this, and it was so charming. But again, I'm horrified at AI. I'm not sure if this is the right way to go. And this is not macroplastics. This is just like rubble. So I think it's a good brainstorming tool, and that's what my students suggested as well. A piece of software the student said that is all the rage these days, and you can get it for free, is Tableau. So if you go to software.utah.edu, you can essentially plug in data and it will generate information. But Excel does this too, where you could you could visualize this using data processing tools. So maybe that would be the better way to go. Here's samples of what Tableau does. A lot of this looks familiar because it's like demographic stuff, and it's line charts and pie charts and Gantt charts and all stuff like that. So there's a variety of ways approaching it, and some of them can be fancy and some of them could be very rudimentary. But the student said, hey, if the professor has any more questions, to let them know. So I would suggest talking to graduate students or even undergraduate students and asking if any of them have experience with Tableau, and they might be able to show some simple ways of going about it. Or if you go to AI, or if you go to YouTube and say, hey, what's a quick way to get started with Tableau, you can access it for free. Thanks for reaching out. It's exciting to see what's happening, and I'm wondering if people are using AI as the overall theme.